Hi, this is Trevor Conkergood. Welcome to this week's R&K Software Club's video for the week. And our topic for this week is about the custom thread chart creator. And did you know that you can create your own custom thread chart? I'm sure that you're aware that at the bottom of the workspace, I can click here and choose from any of these built-in thread palettes. And of course, we have all of the Floriani colors are available, but other popular brands as well, like Madeira, Orobis and Anton, Jenny Haskins, etc. And you can easily change the thread chart at the bottom of your workspace with this tool right here. Well, did you know that you can also create your own custom thread charts? As an example, I've got one called My Favorite 48s, and essentially it's 48 colors that fit nicely across the bottom of my workspace. That's my little bit of a digitizer's color palette so that I have several pinks and several yellow shades, but not necessarily a specific number. And so it's a palette that I created to digitize with. But you may want to create a thread palette that it actually represents the thread that you've purchased. And all of these things are completely possible with the thread chart creator. And so let's go ahead and get started. To use the thread chart creator, we would look under the tools drop down menu. And partway down the option list is something called the thread chart creator. We'll go ahead and select that. And a window opens up. And the window that opens up will have, first of all, you can either open a current color chart and make edits to it, or you can click to create a new one. And so if I create a new color palette, we can give it any name that we want. We'll just call this Trevor's Today. And now I have an empty color palette. I can save it, but it's empty. And so we would want to add some colors to it. Now, you can either import a color or add a color. Import would mean adding a color from one of the existing thread charts. So if I click on import, then a little window will open up where I can choose, what thread brand. And so if you choose Floriani polyester, and if you have purchased some of the 186 Floriani polyester copper, you could import that, and you could come along and say, oh, I also have the burnt orange, and I'll import that one. And I have this athletic gold and import that one. And so you can go ahead, maybe you also purchase some of the Jenny Haskins thread. And so you have a real nice blue from Jenny Haskins, and you can import that into your collection. And so it's pretty much as easy as this. The colors will appear in the order that you add them. They're not something that you can drag and rearrange. And so if you want to make them like mine in a rainbow, then I guess the trick is to kind of start by adding your pinks and then add your reds and, finish up with the purples to create the rainbow effect kind of manually. But you can click here to import colors. And when you're done importing colors, you can close the little box. The option to add a color really kind of refers to the color palette on the side, and how I could come in here and say, I want to add a new color and then give it a name. So it could have you can use your sort of rainbow histogram and find your RGB colors, or you can type in the specific RGB colors that you need to, and you can give it a name. So call it, and I'll just highlight the text that's there, Trevor's Purple. And, if you need that to have a number, you could give it a number, 1001, and basically say that's now been actually added. So if I click add color, it's going to be adding another one. So this one has been added, and I've named it and numbered it. And so, at the end of all of this, if I click save, then this color palette will be updated, and I can close all of this. And if we look down at the bottom now, there should be one, and it'll be, by alphanumerical. So there's one called Trevor's Today. and it just has the colors that we've created. So it's very easy to create your own thread chart, either from custom color numbers and custom RGB values, or just simply choosing from your different threads that you already own. You can bring them all in with their existing names and numbers. And if you want to continue working on this thread chart, then you come back to the tools drop down menu, go back to your thread chart creator, and say open, and it will bring you to your thread palettes where you can now select the one that you've made. In my case, it's called Trevor's Today, and there it is. And I could go ahead and continue adding new colors to that. And so if you had some specific colors that you needed to add, you could select them and click import, and then save to update your color palette. And so that is kind of how it works. And notice that my color palette automatically updated to include the yellow. And so we hope you enjoyed this week's R&K Software Club's video for the week. Until next week, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.